All right, enough Arsenal. How about some quick hits instead?
Let's go, Gab.
Real Madrid fall away to Lille 1-0. Jules Carletto Ancelotti said the derby against Atletico, not an excuse.
No.
They just weren't good enough.
No, they were not, Gabby. They were not. Lille deserved the victory, the greatest win in the club's history. Obviously,
at least in Europe, they did win the league.
But even in the league, they never beat somebody like Real Madrid anyway. The holders, the best team in the world with Man City. So amazing, really. Bruno Genesio's plan worked perfectly. Put a lot of players inside, density, all of that. We didn't see much of Bellingham or Valverde, even Vinicius. Apart from the first 10 minutes and the last 10 minutes, there was nothing from Real Madrid. So well done, Jonathan David with the goal on penalty. And Bruno Genesio becomes only the third manager to beat Jose Mourinho, Carlo Ancelotti, and Pep Guardiola in Europe. And the other two are Jurgen Klopp and Diego Simeone. So well done to Genesio.
It's keeping pretty good company there, Bruno.
Yeah, well done. Super sub John Duran comes off the bench to score the only goal as Bayern fall at Villa Park to Unai Emery and Aston Villa. Gab, deserved. And are you a bit worried for company now?
I'm not actually concerned about company at all. He started Musiala on the bench, which surprised me a little bit. Came on the second half. Unai Emery played a very defensive, counter-attacking game, and it makes sense because Vincent Kompany plays a very high line. The goal obviously came on the counter, and by the way, John Duran, you can't say enough about him. I think he's averaging a goal every 43 minutes, 5 goals this season off the bench.
Incredible.
And I think he also scored in the League Cup, but as you know, I don't count that.
Yeah.
Plus, I think that might have been a penalty. But I don't have an issue with Emery saying, all right, you have the ball, and we're going to hit you on the counter because we have fast people. And because Kim and Upamecano essentially played the halfway circle. Upamecano was lucky not to get sent off, I think, in the first half. So you have a game plan, you execute the game plan well, and you stick to it. Equally, I am curious what would have happened if Bayern had scored, because they could have scored. And shout out, by the way, to Emi Martinez. Again, not always my favorite person in the world, but he is a ridiculously good goalkeeper on nights like this. 2 enormous stops, which is why if I'm company, I'm not concerned. Bad night for the other half of Madrid, too, as Atleti get thumped by Benfica, 4-0. Jules, not good, and so much are taking the momentum of Correa's late goal in the derby into Europe.
Yeah, humiliation, really, because it could have been more than 4. They were battered. They offered nothing with the ball, without the ball. Simeone making 3 substitutions at halftime. It was that bad. I think he got his team wrong at the start. Even
made
some
5
of the
changes, I think, from the derby.
Yeah, the first one was sorry. I thought you meant during the game. 5 from the derby. No on Gallagher, for example, which was weird because Benfica are a good team. They run a lot. They're very intense since Bruno Lage arrived on the bench to replace Roger Schmidt. And it was just a night to forget for Atletico. And the problem is, away from home in Europe, it's not the first one, and that's also really worrying. And meanwhile, Gabby, the inquiry into the suspension of the Madrid derby continues in Spain. Atleti have already banned 1 fan for life after what we saw on Sunday night. And the stand from which the missiles were thrown at Thibaut Courtois will be closed for 3 home games. You happy with that so far?
I think it's a step. I want them to go and identify more fans, but that's what the authorities do. Atleti can presumably identify the guy, or at least one of the people, straight away and ban him. We always say there's stuff that clubs can do of their own accord, and then there's other things for the authorities that'll come. I think closing the stand for 3 home games does make a difference. And by the way, it's not like some people say, oh, but then they'll just move to somewhere else in the stadium. No, it's actually difficult to do because the stadium's generally sold out and there's season ticket holders elsewhere. I think it sends a message, but we need to have more prosecutions. I also hope Atleti change their policy. And if you're a loser who shows up wearing that ugly
balaclava or mask,
whatever kind of mask you're wearing, and you're running around in the stands in it, immediately you send people out there to crack skulls and you take this guy out because there's no reason you should do that. Barcelona destroy Young Boys 5-0. With hindsight, maybe resting everyone against Osasuna away wasn't so clever, was it?
That's what we said, didn't we, on Monday as well, of the 2 games. Really,
Young Boys have had a horrible start in the league as well, by the way.
Yeah, terrible. Lewandowski scoring early as well to help, and then there was quite a long spell without a goal, and then they finished them off later. Good win, especially after the Monaco defeat. They had to win, not to be with just 1 point or 0 point after 2 games. So well done, and then you bring back that momentum, I guess, before the international break.
Was it the first goal where they had like the it looked like they strung together 87 passes, or was it one of the goals? It was
one
just
of
like,
the goals. Yeah, it's just there was too much.
It's
gap
like they were playing
again.
against like traffic cones.
Yes, absolutely. And there was a wild one, Gabby, in Leipzig. 10-man Juventus come from behind away in Germany to win 3-2.
Yeah, it was funny. So the SOS score opening the scoring. And we talked about sort of the Thiago Motta effect and bringing energy to these players. And somebody made the point that, when they lose the ball, they run hard back, which is not, they run back at pace, which didn't happen under Allegri, mainly because they weren't forward. They were back already. I thought, you talk about confidence builders. I thought this is tremendous for Thiago Motta for getting buy-in from their players. Leipzig, not a good fit. They lose Bremer after just, inside of 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you look at the back and you have Cambiaso and Gatti, the right back, the kid Savona.
Yeah.
All these guys, you're wondering, who are they? Well, guess what? He puts their faith in them. And they do well. Cambiaso, by the way, is playing on a level which I think right now is
great
ridiculous.
Cross for the Vlahovic goal, the first one.
And then Vlahovic gets the 2 goals, so there's no issue with the center forward. And I'll leave you to decide which goal you enjoyed more, Vlahovic or Conceição, because that thing where he turns around inside out.
Yeah, completely. Conceição, because he's the winning goal as well with 10 men, as we said, coming back from behind. Great, although the second Vlahovic goal is lovely too. But yeah, I'll go for Conceição. And for such a young player, at the end of a game where he came on to replace Nico Gonzalez, who also got injured in the first half hour or so, and to still have the composure at the end to go between the 2 defenders and then score the way he does.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Two other quick points about this. Douglas Luiz, look, you're already in the doghouse. If you come on and you act like that on the free kick where he gave away the penalty, where you're putting your hands up,
you're supposed scared of the ball.
Yeah, I think what happened, I think he wasn't concentrated. Because if you're concentrated, the free kick is coming, right? If you're concentrated and you're with it, you can take evasive actions. You don't need to. It's when you're not concentrated, that's when you make the instinctive gesture while putting your hands up. You need to do better. Di Gregorio, I think unlucky, but his hand, he's got long arms. But they would have scored anyway otherwise. Liverpool down Bologna 2-0, and the Premier League leaders stay on track, Jules.
Yeah, that's right, Gabby. Goal by McAllister and Salah. Salah becoming the African player with the most goals in Champions League history, overtaking Didier Drogba. Great night for him. But it was a bit nervy at times, and Bologna played really well, I thought. They pressed them well. They recovered the ball high. They hit the woodwork twice. Danendo really should have scored. So the score like that, 2-0 on paper, doesn't really reflect the trouble that Liverpool had at times trying to play out from the back and getting caught.
Let me remind Bologna that the 3 best players from last season, 2 of them, Xerxes and Calafiori, have left.
Yeah.
The other one, Lewis Ferguson, is still injured. He's coming back from an ACL. And also Castro, who's been phenomenal for them, the Argentine. He was injured. He started on the bench last night. So really well done to Bologna.
Victor Boniface scores the only goal as Bayer Leverkusen beat Milan 1-0 in Germany. But Paulo Fonseca said this was Milan's best performance of the season. Is this an odd thing to say?
It's an odd thing to say because your best performance of the season was in the derby when you flattened Inter and you won. But it was interesting because Milan changed things around a little bit. They played Loftus-Cheek in midfield. Leverkusen had a ton of the ball. They created chances. They didn't score until early in the second half. And then they unleashed a secret weapon, which is not so secret, which is Alvaro Morata. Milan had a ton of opportunities. I thought they should have had a penalty as well. So I think, again, if maybe you wait the last half hour more, but you come off there buzzing, feeling like you should have gotten more from one of the best teams in Europe. So I think you can turn this into a positive, despite the fact that you're still on 0 points.
Yeah, true, 0 points after 2 games.
And you have Real Madrid coming up in 2 rounds. But hey, Phil Foden back in the starting lineup. Thank you, Manchester City. Thank you also for that the tweet explaining. Yes. Yeah. Hey, look, this is what happened. Now he's back. That they destroy Slovan Bratislava away 4-0. I think they missed him.
Yeah, you're right. And he scored and assisted on his first start of the season, which is great also for his own confidence and his own momentum. And against a really bad team, let's be honest. Slovan Bratislava are not good.
It's funny, Weiss, Kuchka. I'm having like flashbacks like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And was it Kashi, the Georgian defender, who's also like 45?
And to be fair, it was probably the best game to start Foden again after the preseason, the summer, the start of the season, a bit of the issues that he had. because you knew that Slovan was so bad that he would have a good game. He did. He played 78 minutes, I think, which is perfect, and then he's ready for the weekend. So it's another option now for Pep. And do you bring him straight into the team in the Premier League?
He's come on as a sub like 50 times, so I think
So for
he's ready.
Yeah, let's see who is replacing that. Bruno Fernandes' red card against Tottenham last weekend in the Premier League has been overturned, Gabby, which means that he won't face a ban. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay. You and I talked about this. We thought a yellow would have been sufficient. Others have made different points because he slipped. And if we say that, then he shouldn't be banned. I mean, even in general, the idea with bans where, somebody else gets the benefit, I'm not 100% comfortable with. But no, in this case, yeah, of course. Well done. Jules, you've made your thoughts on Erik Ten Hag very clear. Should United let him go? The three most talked about names to replace him right now are Thomas Tuchel, Simone Inzaghi, and Gareth Southgate. Please rank them in your preferred order in case Omar Barada and Jim Ratcliffe and Dan Ashworth and the rest of the gang and Jason Wilcox, in case the Brain Trust is listening.
Yeah, I'm sure they all are listening. By the way, good luck to try to get Simone Inzaghi out of Inter Milan, by the way, and try to poach him.
Let's say you can wave a magic wand. You can have anyone. I mean,
so
Tuchel
in that
and
case,
Southgate are obviously unemployed. So it's easier.
In that case, I would go for Simone Inzaghi in first because, as we've been saying many times together, he's doing an amazing job. He's completely underrated, I think, by a lot of people within the game. But what a job he's been doing at Inter Milan. He not just is a good coach, but he's a good person, I think, to have within your club, to be sat on your bench. So I would have him first. I would have Thomas Tuchel second. I know it's a bit difficult to work with him sometimes, and he's very demanding, and he's got a strong personality, let's put it that way. But I still think that Thomas Tuchel is an amazing manager. And then we'll have the other one.
Okay. Who's also a good person. On the Inzaghi thing, I think you need to first decide what is our strategy here? Because if we want to win straight away and be more plug and play, I think the answer is Tuchel, shorter term. Relative to Inzaghi.
Yeah.
I think Inzaghi would have issues because I think in the Premier League, it would take him more time. You see this. He rotates everybody all the time. That doesn't go down well here in England. It's a cultural thing. I mean, Pep rotates quite a bit too, but he's Pep. He's in his own little. He's in his own little box. I don't think Simone Inzaghi speaks English. There's a lot of hurdles. So if you want to go down the project route, like you've gone down the project route for like the last 10 years, then Simone Inzaghi. If you say we need a lift now, when we start building a new stadium, whatever, then maybe Tuchel is the option.
Yeah. And speaking of Inzaghi, Gabby, Inter makes 7 changes and roll over Red Star Belgrade 4-0.
What did I say? He rotates 7 changes.
Yeah.
Guys come in, guys go out. They all know what they're supposed to be doing. Hakan Çalhanoğlu is there in the big games. Tremendous free kick. I mean, he started Marko freaking Arnautovic and maybe Taremi up front. Taremi exceptional. Arnautovic scoring. Well done to him. This works for him because he spends so much time doing boring tactical stuff on the training pitch because the players are used to it and he has the local cred. Again, you move to a new country. I don't know you'd have that from day one. Jules, huge performance from Brest, who went 4-0 away to Salzburg. We love an underdog story. They said top of the table in the Champions League. They are perfect, even on goal difference. Only Borussia Dortmund ahead of them. But does it help that they've only played Austrian clubs? Brest, if Austria were to annex, that they just had elections, maybe they could annex the town of Brest.
It's a long way out, though.
I know. They could be like an exclave.
Yeah, it could
they
be
would dominate.
Yeah, they would. I mean, that Sturm Graz at home, you beat them. Okay, it's kind of, you could have seen it coming. But to go away to Salzburg, not that I think Salzburg are that amazing, but still to go there and win 4-0 the way they did, they were so efficient, so good, so clinical, brilliant. I'm so happy for them. Eric Roy, they got battered at the weekend in Liga, and then they go in the Champions League and batter another team. Wonderful.
And on Brest, I think compared to like a Slovan Bratislava or even a Salzburg, these teams, when they play domestically, they're used to having the ball all the time. They're built to attack. Brest don't play that way in Ligue 1. They know how to play on the counter as well when they choose to. In some ways, I wonder if they have an edge in the Champions League.
Yeah, maybe. Atalanta win away Shakhtar Donetsk. Well, in Gelsenkirchen 3-0. Gab Gasperini knows what he's doing.
Not a surprise. There's a reason they're the reigning Europa League champions. Slayers of Bayer never losing. They turned into Bayer losing to Atalanta, if you see what I did there. 3 goals, put the game away in the first half. When he's good, he's really, really good. And he's another one who likes his rotations as well. It's a first-half hat trick for Karim Adeyemi as Borussia Dortmund demolished Celtic 7-1. Jules, this was 6-1 at halftime.
Yeah, it was 1-1 after 9 minutes. And then suddenly after that, just not really sure. I don't know if this Celtic team is a bit naive, maybe, if they just think they can play the same way that they do in Scotland in the league and then be okay. I know they had a really good first game against Slovan Bratislava, but this is another level. As average as Dortmund have been so far this season, and we say every week, they are still a very good team going forward. If on top of that your goalkeeper in Kasper Schmeichel is having a shocking evening, if the XG is like 2.5 and they score 7 goals or something like that, it's just ridiculous. So bad night.
But this is they're another example they talked about with Brest, right? Where you have a team that's dominant in the league. So you have a manager who wants to play attacking football, open football, and outplay the opposition. I think it is a big ask to go into the Champions League and suddenly send a message to everybody, hey, let's all be more cautious. You know, let's not quite park the bus, but it's Dortmund away, it's the Westfalenstadion. I think this is another hurdle. And this is, again, why somebody like Brest might be better placed.
Another Champions League match day and another defensive blunder costing them points as Girona lose at home to Feyenoord.
Yeah, so we saw this from Gazzaniga. Here was a mix-up with the defenders, 3-2. It was a bit of a messy game. Both teams had a penalty. Neither one was able to convert. Girona, they weren't that bad against Paris Saint-Germain, but I thought they were really poor in this game against Feyenoord. But we should rejoice. Donny van de Beek, first goal since the final week of the 2021-22 season, playing for Everton against
Arsenal.
There you go.
And he scored one that was disallowed as well, but he went mad celebrating, and then he scored another one.
Monaco come from 2 goals down to grab a draw against Dinamo Zagreb. Jules, was this all part of Adi Hutter's master plan? Let me lull them into a false sense of security.
I don't know if it was, but the weather was terrible. The pitch was terrible. It was
a mud pile.
Yeah, it was flooded. You had water puddles everywhere. Well done for Zagreb to take the lead. 2 really good goals, Sucic and then Baturina, who looks really like we know how promising he is, but he looks like a player.
I thought he was still like 19. He's not. He's 21. I feel like we've heard about him for a long time.
True. Sucic is 20 only, and they are the 2 most promising talent coming out of Zagreb now. And then Monaco, I like the fact that they didn't give up really and went back and scored 2 goals. The first one on set pieces, the second one on a penalty. Really good from them to get a point after the win against Barcelona, because losing in Zagreb would have almost kind of ruined or wasted what they did so good at home against Barcelona in match day 1. So well done, 4 points after 2 games. They'd be happy. And again, they've showed that kind of character before. So Adi Hütter was really happy after the game. PSV Eindhoven and Sporting battled to a 1-1 draw. Got 2 nice goals though.
Even nicer than the goals. And I don't even know if this exists online, maybe on some PSV Luke de Jong fan channel, but the move the big man makes, he does a classic sombrero, which, hey, look, when Neymar does it, fine, but you don't expect Luke de Jong. I thought of you immediately.
Still bad de Jong.
whatever. And then he he flosses his finisher, he doesn't control it, but still looked cool. Tremendous goals. Schouten and Braganza. Our man Peter Bosz needs to win these games. It's interesting. You can see Peter Bosz, I think this is a one-dimensional team. Ruben Amorim, on the other hand, he can beat you in so many different ways, and they got back into the game. So it's a big point for Sporting away, I think.
And they could have won it. Braganza at the end with that chance, and he slipped. I don't know what he did, or he fell over on his own.
I think he just messed up his feet.
Yeah.
Christos Solis scores a worldie, and Bruges get a big road win away to Sturm Graz. Jules, can't tell you how happy I am for my boy, Mr. Champions League, Hans Van Aken.
Yeah, goal of the night for me, even better than the Vlahovic one or the Salah one, who was similar.
Or the Schouten one or the Conceição. There were so many
but Solis
tremendous
for me
goals.
On Wednesday night is the goal. The first touch and then the finish, the curler. It's just amazing. And well done for Bruges. We also had Simon Mignolet in goal, having a good second half, making a good few saves.
This is the same Simon Mignolet who played for Liverpool, by the way. It's not another dude with the same name.
No.
It feels like it was 20 years ago.
Yeah, you're right, actually. He must be 52 years old, Mignolet now. But yeah, good win for Bruges. Stuttgart are held at home by Sparta Prague, and Gab, once again, Sebastian Hoeneß's team playing well, but leaving points on the table.
Yeah, well, obviously we saw that against Real Madrid in the opener. I thought they played really, really well. They created a ton of chances and then undone. But again, you talk about tremendous goals. Kaan Karinen, that free kick. Beautiful. I don't even know if it was the best free kick we've seen because Çalhanoğlu's was pretty sweet as well. But yeah, to me, it just kind of underscores the entertainment of this round of Champions League games.
And Enzo Mio with another goal as well for Stuttgart. He's
giving them the lead
really,
early.
Really developing.
He's 2 games in. He's been one of the best midfielders in the tournament so far.
Absolutely.